Good morning, class 9. We were doing the chapter Nazism and Rise of Hitler. Now, today we are going to read about a very important heading of this chapter, that is Years of Depression. We will read about the Great Depression. We will see what kind of economic crisis occurred, how the people suffered, what problems the people had to face. The years of depression. The years between 1924 and 28 saw some stability. Yet, this was built on sand. That means the stability was for a very short period of time. German investments and industrial recovery were totally dependent on short term loans, largely from the USA. This support was withdrawn when the Wall Street Exchange crashed in 1929. Fearing a fall in prices, people made frantic efforts to sell their shares. On one single day, 24th October, 13 million shares were sold. This was the start of the Great Economic Depression. Now you must start underlining things from here. Fearing a fall in prices, people made frantic efforts to sell their shares. On one single day, 24th October, 13 million shares were sold. This was the start of the Great Economic Depression. Over the next 3 years, between 1929 and 32, the national income of the USA fell by half. Underline all these lines. They are describing the economic depression, the Great Depression. Factories shut down, exports fell, farmers were badly hit, and speculators withdrew their money from the market. The effects of this recession in the US economy were felt worldwide. That means the effect of this great economic setback was seen all over the world. The German economy was the worst hit by the economic crisis. Underline, keep underlining. This is, everything is describing the economic depression. The German economy was the worst hit by the economic crisis. By 1932, industrial production was reduced to 40% of the 1929 level. Workers lost their jobs or were paid reduced wages. So we are seeing what kind of problems the people faced. The industries were shut down, the factories were shut down, the exports fell, the farmers were hit very badly, and the workers lost their jobs or they were paid very low wages. The number of unemployed touched an unprecedented 6 million because the factories and industries were shut, so thousands of people were now unemployed. On the streets of Germany, you could see men with placards around their necks saying, willing to do any work. So the people were so much tormented, they were so much disturbed due to unemployment, that now they were willing to do any kind of work that was offered to them. Any amount of wages that was offered to them, they were willing to take that also. Unemployed youths played cards or simply sat at the street corners or desperately queued up at the local employment exchange. So you can see what kind of desperate situation the young people, the youth was facing. They were ready to do any kind of job, big or small, and since they were unemployed, so they were just whiling away their time sitting on the streets playing cards, or they were lining up, they were queued up at the local employment exchange. As jobs disappeared, the youth took to criminal activities and total despair became commonplace. Now, we can well imagine that when the people did not have any jobs, so they wanted money. They wanted money to eat food. They wanted money to live living, to fulfill their basic needs of their life. So how they could earn money? They were out of job. They now took to illegal activities, criminal activities, and the total despair became a commonplace. That means there was all around, there was disappointment, there was sorrow, there was hopelessness, because now they were out of job. They did not know what to do to earn money. The economic crisis created deep anxieties and fear in people. The middle classes, especially salaried employees and pensioners, saw their savings diminish when the currency lost its value. So, all this is the result of the economic crisis. The economic crisis created deep anxieties and fears in people. The people were fearful that the value of money is falling down. What is going to happen? The salary that they were getting was not sufficient according to their needs. Small businessmen, the self-employed and retailers suffered as their businesses got ruined. These sections of society were filled with the fear of proletarianization. This is a long term, and see the meaning of this word is given below. To become impoverished to the level of the working class. That means those sections of society who were rich sections of the society, they had a fear that now they will become so poor that they will come to the level of the working classes. The working classes were middle class families. They were not very rich people in the society, and they were becoming poorer and poorer. So the rich businessmen section of the society, they had a fear in their mind that now their condition is going to become worse day by day, and they will come to the level of the working classes. An anxiety of being reduced to the ranks of the working class, or worse still, the unemployed. So these sections of society feared that either they are going to come to the level of the ordinary working class, or even the unemployed sections of people in the society. Only organized workers could manage to keep their heads above water. That means they had only those who were well organized, they had planned out everything, they could survive this situation. But unemployment weakened their bargaining power. Big business was in crisis. The large mass of peasantry was affected by a sharp fall in agricultural prices, and women, unable to fill their children's stomachs, were filled with the sense of deep despair. So there was hopelessness and despair everywhere. The women were troubled that they could not give sufficient food to their children. They could not satisfy the hunger of their children. The farmers were affected, the peasantry was affected because of the fall in agricultural prices. Politically too, the Weimar Republic was fragile, it was weak. The Weimar Constitution had some inherent defects which made it unstable and vulnerable to dictatorship. One was proportional representation. Now in this paragraph, children, you will see the two major defects in the Weimar Constitution which made it fragile, which made it weak. I am reading from the first line again. Politically too, the Weimar Republic was fragile. The Weimar Constitution had some inherent defects. We will read two defects in this paragraph, which made it unstable and vulnerable to dictatorship. That means it fell into the hands of dictatorship. One was proportional representation. This was the first defect of the Weimar Constitution, proportional representation. This made achieving a majority by any one party, a near impossible task. So what was proposed under proportional representation? That a clear majority should be achieved by any one party, and this was almost an impossible task, leading to a rule of coalitions. When a clear majority could not be attained by any one party, then a coalition of two or more parties was formed. Another defect was Article 48, write number 2 here. First was proportional representation. Second was the Article 48, which gave the President the powers to impose emergency, suspend civil rights, and rule by decree. Decree is an official order, official government order. So, according to the Article 48, the president had the power to impose emergency in the country anytime. He could suspend, he could cancel the rights of the citizens, and he could rule by decree. That means he could issue any government order and rule according to that order. Within its short life, the Weimar Republic saw 20 different cabinets. You can well imagine 20 different cabinets. That means elections took place how frequently, the government fell how frequently. Within its short life, the Weimar Republic saw 20 different cabinets lasting on an average 239 days, and a liberal use of Article 48. A liberal use, a misuse of Article 48 was noticed. Yet, the crisis could not be managed. People lost confidence in the democratic parliamentary system, which seemed to offer no solution. So finally, the democratic type of system, the democratic type of government could not satisfy the people, and it again fell into the hands of dictators. Next page. Hitler's rise to power. So with the failure of democratic type of government here, Hitler was now seen in the forefront. This crisis in the economy, polity, that means the form of government, and the society formed the background to Hitler's rise to power. Born in 1889 in Austria, Hitler spent his youth in poverty. When the First World War broke out, he enrolled for the army, acted as a messenger in the front, became a corporal, and earned medals for bravery. The German defeat horrified him, and the Versailles Treaty made him furious. In 1919, he joined a small group called the German Workers' Party. He subsequently took over the organization. Which organization? German Workers' Party. He subsequently took over the organization and renamed it the National Socialist German Workers' Party. This was the new name given by Hitler. This party came to be known as the Nazi Party. Later on, this party, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, later on it was called the Nazi Party, headed by Hitler. In 1923, Hitler planned to seize control over Bavaria, march to Berlin and capture power. He failed, was arrested, tried for treason, that means tried for criminal activity, and later released. The Nazis could not effectively mobilize popular support till the early 1930s. It was during the Great Depression that Nazism became a mass movement. Underline this line. When did Nazism become a mass movement? When did Nazism become popular among the people? During the period of Great Depression. As we have seen, after 1929, banks collapsed, underline all this, and businesses shut down. Workers lost their jobs, and the middle classes were threatened with destitution, that means extreme poverty. In such a situation, Nazi propaganda stirred hopes of a better future. When Hitler saw that the economic depression had shaken the faith of the people, they were so tormented, the banks had collapsed, businesses were shut down, the people were losing their jobs, there was a lot of unemployment, they had no hope, the people were filled with hopelessness. At this time, he took the opportunity and Nazism became popular. The Nazis started making popular among the people this idea that if people are going to support Hitler, if they are going to join the Nazis, they will have a better future. In 1928, the Nazi party got no more than 2.6% votes in the Reichstag, the German parliament. Underline this and learn. All this is important for 1 mark questions. Reichstag was the name given to the German parliament. By 1932, it had become the largest party with 37% votes. Which party? The Nazi party. Hitler was a powerful speaker. Keep paying attention, children. All these paragraphs are very, very important. Hitler was a powerful speaker. His passion and his words moved people. That means he was able to inspire people. He was able to win the hearts of the people with his speeches. He was a powerful speaker. He promised to build a strong nation, undo the injustice of Versailles Treaty, and restore the dignity of the German people. He promised employment for those looking for work and a secure future for the youth. He promised to weed out all foreign influences. Weed out means to remove all foreign influences and resist all foreign conspiracies against Germany. So, this was what people at this time wanted. They wanted jobs, they wanted money, they wanted a secure future for themselves. So when Hitler gave public speeches, he assured the people that he is going to fight for the injustice which the Versailles Treaty had done to the people of Germany. He is going to build Germany as a strong nation. He is going to give employment to the people. He will secure the future of the youth, and he promised that all foreign influences will be removed and all conspiracies will be fought. So all these promises inspired the people to join the Nazi party. Hitler devised a new style of politics. He understood the significance of rituals and spectacle in mass mobilization. That means he was able to understand that rituals are going to influence the people on a large scale. Nazis held massive rallies and public meetings to demonstrate the support for Hitler and instill the sense of unity among people. The red banners with the swastika, the Nazi salute, and the ritualized rounds of applause after the speeches were all part of this spectacle of power. You can see on this page only there is a picture, and the swastika symbol is made. In Hindi we call it Satya. So this symbol was made on the banners of the Nazis, and after every speech which Hitler gave, people had to clap to show that Hitler was a powerful ruler. The power of Hitler was demonstrated in this way. Nazi propaganda skillfully projected Hitler as a Messiah, a savior, as someone who had arrived to deliver people from their distress. So the propaganda, the popularity which Nazis got, which Hitler got, made the people feel that Hitler was their Messiah. He was a messenger of God, and he had come on this earth to free them from all troubles, from all distress. It is an image that captured the imagination of a people whose sense of dignity and pride had been shattered, and who were living in a time of acute economic and political crisis. So all those people who had suffered so badly due to the great economic depression, the people who had suffered so much, their pride and dignity was shattered. When they saw Hitler promising such great things to them, they did not feel that supporting Hitler may bring ruin later on. At that time they felt that Hitler was like a Messiah for them, and they must join Hitler, they must join the Nazi party to make their future better and secure. The destruction of democracy. On 30th January 1933, President Hindenburg offered the chancellorship, the highest position of the cabinet of ministers, to Hitler. By now, the Nazis had managed to rally the conservatives to their cause. Having acquired power, Hitler set out to dismantle the structures of a democratic rule. Now, this line is important. Having acquired power, Hitler set out to dismantle the structures of democratic rule. That means now he was ready to break the democratic system of government which had been set up and bring about dictatorship everywhere. A mysterious fire broke out in the German parliament building in February facilitated his move. The fire decree of 28 February 1933 indefinitely suspended civic rights like freedom of speech, press, assembly that had been guaranteed by the Weimar Constitution. Now just pay attention and keep underlining. This is how Hitler started bringing himself in the forefront, and he established his power and authority everywhere. When a fire broke out in the German parliament, he issued an order, a fire decree, which cancelled the civic rights like freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom to form assembly that had been guaranteed by the Weimar Constitution. All these rights were taken away. Then he turned on his arch enemies, the communists, most of whom were hurriedly packed off. That means they were sent off to the newly established concentration camps. Now see at the bottom of the page on the right hand side, the meaning of concentration camps is given. It is a very important word in this lesson. Pay attention and try to remember it. A camp where people were isolated and detained without due process of law. Typically, it was surrounded by electrified barbed wire fences. So, people were sent to isolated places. They were kept there for a very long period of time. They were detained there without any proceedings from the court. And it was surrounded by electrified barbed wire fences. So if they want to escape, they cannot, because they were electrified fences and people will die. Then he hurried on his arch enemies, the communists, most of whom were hurriedly packed off. They were sent to the concentration camps. The repression of the communists was severe. Out of the surviving 6,808 arrest files of Dusseldorf, a small city of 500,000 population, 1,440 were those of communists alone. They were, however, only one among the 52 types of victims persecuted by the Nazi across the country. On 3rd March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed. Underline, this whole paragraph is very, very important. Learn the whole paragraph. Write very important either on the left or right side of the paragraph. And write learn. On 3rd March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed. Now here you will see what was this Enabling Act. This act established dictatorship in Germany. This act established dictatorship in Germany. Each line of this paragraph has to be learned, children. It gave Hitler all powers to sideline the parliament. The parliament which was ruling till now, the Reichstag, the German parliament, he sidelined that parliament and he started ruling by decree. That means he made his own official orders. All political parties and trade unions were banned except the Nazi Party and its affiliates. That means those smaller organizations or even larger organizations which were associated to the Nazi Party, only they could remain. All other parties, all other political parties or trade unions were banned. The state established complete control over the economy, media, army and judiciary. Underline all this and learn everything. All this comes under Enabling Act. Special surveillance and security forces were created. This is also under Enabling Act. Underline. Special surveillance and security forces were created to control and order society in ways that the Nazis wanted. That means the whole setup in the German society was changed. Now everything was according to the rules and regulations made by Hitler. Everything was according to what the Nazi party wanted. So the whole setup in the German society was changed completely. Special surveillance, that means investigating agencies, special investigation agencies and security forces were created to control and order society in ways the Nazis wanted. Nobody in the German society could go against the Nazis. They had to do what Nazis wanted. Apart from the already existing regular police in green uniform and the SA or the stormtroopers, these included the Gestapo, secret state police. Underline and learn this. Secret state police was given the name of Gestapo, and the SS, the protection squads, the criminal police and the security service. All these were added by the Nazis. It was the extra constitutional powers of these newly organized forces that gave the Nazi state its reputation as the most dreaded criminal state. So, by the bringing of Gestapo into the scene, then the SS, the criminal police and the security service, the Nazi state was now, it had now become the most dreaded criminal state. People could now be detained in Gestapo torture chambers, rounded up and sent to concentration camps, deported at will or arrested without any legal procedures. The police forces acquired powers to rule with impunity. Impunity means freedom from punishment. Freedom from punishment. So, what is the nutshell of this? It shows that now the Nazis were totally free to do whatever they wanted to do in Germany. They were using their force. They were using their, we should say, they were misusing their force and power. They were sending anybody to concentration camps without any trial. They were torturing them. The people were arrested without any legal procedures, and the police forces acquired powers to rule with impunity. That means they had all the freedom to rule. They were free from all punishment and they could cause any type of torture to the people. The police was free to torture the people to any level, to any extent, and that is why Hitler's rule is famous for brutality. Hitler's rule is famous for cruelty because he had implemented cruelty to maximum possible limits. The German society was now totally changed under Hitler. Totally new type of rules and regulations were implemented which suited the Nazi parties, which suited Hitler. Irrespective of the fact that what troubles the people were facing, how much torture they were doing on the people, they did not take all this into consideration. But now the people were really terrified under the Nazi rule, and that is why it was the Nazi state earned the reputation of the most dreaded criminal state. Reconstruction. Hitler assigned the responsibility of economic recovery to the economist Hjalmar Schacht, who aimed at full production and full employment. Through a state-funded work creation program. This project produced the famous German superhighways and people's car, the Volkswagen. You must have heard of this name, Volkswagen, I am sure. In foreign policy also, Hitler acquired quick successes. He pulled out of the League of Nations in 1933, reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936, and integrated Austria and Germany in 1938 under the slogan "One people, one empire and one leader." He then went on to wrest German-speaking Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia and gobbled up the entire country. In all of this, he had the unspoken support of England, which had considered the Versailles verdict too harsh. These quick successes at home and abroad seemed to reverse the destiny of the country. Hitler did not stop here. Schacht had advised Hitler against investing hugely in rearmament as the state still ran on deficit financing due to the economic depression. Lot of financial crisis even Germany had faced. So this a great economist did not want Hitler to invest a lot of money in rearmament or purchasing new arms and weapons. Cautious people, however, had no place in Nazi Germany. Cautious people, that means careful people who had a well planned idea in their mind. Such people were not respected in Germany. They had no place in Germany. Schacht had to leave because he could see the future, because he could plan well for the future, so he was not at all allowed to stay in Germany. He had to leave. Hitler chose war as the way out of approaching economic crisis. In order to face the economic crisis, he chose war. Resources were to be accumulated through expansion of territory. See how he had planned, or we can't call it a plan, it was a mismanagement, we can say. Resources were to be accumulated through expansion of territory. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This started a war with France and England. In September 1940, a tripartite pact was passed. This is important, children. Underline this sentence because you can be asked that the tripartite pact was signed between whom? In September 1940, a tripartite pact was signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan, strengthening Hitler's claim to international power. Puppet regimes supportive of Nazi Germany were instilled in a large part of Europe. By the end of 1940, Hitler was at the pinnacle of his power. That means, in a nutshell, we can say that all these big powers were now under the German authority. They were under Hitler, they were subordinates of Hitler, we can say, and Hitler was at the peak of his power by the end of 1940. Okay, so here I stop today. Revise everything as I always tell you. Unless you read these chapters again yourself, you will not understand, you will not remember. So read everything, and in our next class we will start from the next paragraph of page number 60. Thank you. Have a nice day.